everyone, it's Hippie here at Hippie's Common Sense Corner with another video for this week called Stories About Last Call Part 2. Today's date is Tuesday, April 6, 2021. As you can tell, Apex isn't here today. Again, I'm going to tell you, he won't be here till around the 25th. And I got a couple updates I'd like to tell you. I'm actually thinking about shutting this down for a while if not good. Because I'm not getting the responses I thought I was. I am getting the responses through the emails, but not through YouTube. And it's all on me, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but until I do decide, I'll still be uploading. But if you want to check out Apex, go and check them out at Apex the Original. One of the emails I got, or messages I got through Facebook was, I'm sorry, my brain is blank. I didn't write a script for this one. Even though I don't use a script, I normally write one just to help me stay in line. So I'm going to be winging this one, so it'll make them all rough. And before I say anything else, I want to apologize for as rough as the audio sounded on the last one. I thought I had my microphones plugged in. I ended up using the microphone in the tablet. I'm sorry if you're not watching it because of how crappy it sounds. I don't blame you. But to get back to that message, somebody, damn it, I wish I would have could have had time to write a script. But somebody wrote on there. Oh no, that's why it was through my regular email. And they asked why do I always give the date. Well, I'm a big YouTube watcher. You know, that's all I do. I very seldom. Only thing I watch on regular TV or cable is Mayans MC right now, because there ain't really shit on. If I can find something on like HBO or Demand or something like that, then maybe. But I have over 1,000 DVDs of TV series and movies, so but when I watch YouTube videos, I'll watch people, and sometimes it bugs me when because you go on the bottom and see when they uploaded it, but I like knowing, because sometimes with the topics that they're talking about, I actually would like to know what date they actually recorded it. And with saying that, the one email I got, somebody asked me why, and they said they liked that because, like, oh my gosh, and he's got a buddy, I forgot his buddy's name, that does the same thing he does, but with their editing, and sometimes it takes 2-3 weeks, you know, to get it, actually uploaded. So I just give you the date so you kind of know where I'm at when I'm doing it. Like on the last video, I was talking about the emails. I said today's date is this. I got the emails on Wednesday, or the phone calls or whatever. If you like it, don't like it, let it go down below. If you like what you're hearing, hit the like, dislike. Please leave a topic down below, because I'm really getting discouraged here. I know I do better when I got a partner, and I know I promised that I will not replace Apex, which I don't want to, and which I don't think I'm going to, but I think I may have to go to maybe having a different guest come in. Because honest, It's really funny. When I do these uploads by myself, these videos by myself, I don't get no new subscribers. But when I do everyone that where it was Apex and I, we would get a subscriber to it and some comments, like that, what was it, Jack Mars, he said, great duel. And it was in a lot of the emails, so I'm actually even thinking about changing the format. I'm actually going to talk to Apex about shutting down our multimedia one, and I might just do like reviews, movies, TV series. I talked to him about doing one on our multimedia, like the top 10 best band frontmen. And because of our age difference, you don't know the bands I'm talking about. I've heard the bands that he's talking about, but I don't know nothing about them. I don't know. I talked to him today, and we're in the middle of a conversation. He had to let me go to run to the gas station or something. He was going to call me back in 15 minutes. I had not heard from him. I left him a voicemail to call me. I haven't heard from him. So, and I always get concerned because he's 37 years old. He's already had a heart attack, And when I talked to him this morning, because I tried to get a hold of him yesterday, and he said he wasn't feeling good. So I don't know. It's just this isn't working the way I thought it was going to. Maybe you don't like my topics. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe it's my voice. I really hurt my voice really bad singing, but. But believe me when I say I started this channel for you people, because I remember because I just hate hypocrisy so fucking much that it eats me up inside, and double standard bullshit, and I don't like the fact that common sense is not around anymore. And it isn't like I woke up one day and said this is happening. I started this channel last year, and I was talking about doing this for many, many years. And I actually wish I had a place that I could have gone to vent on this crap. I know we're not uploading them right because you're still not getting the descriptions, and we're not making them to Facebook, but this one should get linked to at least Facebook. Like I said, I don't want nobody next to me on here except Apex. But I might have to find somebody to help me with the uploading and editing on the weeks that he's not down here. Like he said, he gets disability. I don't. I can't work with my COPD and emphysema and strokes. And yes, I know I still smoke, but that's besides the point. They want me to wear. Everybody's got shots. Everybody's wearing masks, and they still want me to wear a mask. So I was hoping to be able to do something with this. So I don't know what's going to happen. Just stick around. Maybe you get your wish and I'll vanish. You wouldn't be the first one to wish that. So, but enough of the pity party shit. When I told you this was going to be about last call. Last time I left you, we were talking about the time when I went to go to collect his teeth. I believe that was probably right before I went to prison, I think. I went back and watched it, but I was trying to get this uploaded because the person that's going to, or get this recorded because the person that is going to upload this for me is only available till around midnight, so I had to kind of hurry. There was a time from right about 89 to 92, where last call and I didn't talk, like most brothers, get into your little arguments. And you have to remember, we worked together, we lived together, we partied together. People would laugh. One would walk in a bar, they never ask you, like if I walked in the bar first, nobody asked where was last call walking, where's Hippie? Because they knew the other one would be walking in within 5 to 10 minutes tops. I promised you some stories, and I did promise you that they'll get better, even more funny, and at points they're going to get scary, trust me. And this is going to be a little bit harder. Like I said, I don't use a script, but I write the script because, of course, when I write it, I remember it helps me stay on path. And I've already explained why I sometimes go so far off, or I stretch, go down to fine details. This one here, I don't really remember when it happened, but it happened before. We didn't talk yet 3 years or after. I think it was before. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I think it happened like 3 to 5 months before I went to prison the first time. When we were drinking back then together, this was before I quit, there was all a bunch of bars we'd go to, but there was always 2 or 3 bars that were our home bar, but one bar, I'm not going to give the name because it isn't there anymore, and I honestly don't remember if we left that bar on good terms or bad terms. I really do not, because last call and I split our partnership up basically, and I blew town for a while. Okay, I blew down for probably 2 years, 3 years. I jumped on my bike and just took off. And to tell you the truth, I don't know some of the shit we pulled, if there's statute of limitations on it or not. Just because there is, on what I'm talking about, the cops or DA might hear something else I'm talking about that may not have statute of limitations. I don't even realize it's linked to something else, so that's why you very seldom ever hear me give names. Not that we did a lot of stuff, but you never know. I have to say this was probably 86. We're in our home bar, and there was a fast food restaurant right across the street from us, and there was a bow place, to shoot bow and arrow next door. That's about all I'm going to give. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, I know that bar," and I know you're dumbass, but very seldom did we ever get into a fight in our home bar. Okay, but it did happen. And some guys that didn't know who we were come into our bar, breaks out, big fight breaks out. Thank God the owner of the bar, love him dearly, didn't hold us for all the charges. He just made us pay his deductible. But because a lot of shit got destroyed. Well, the fight started in the bar, and it landed out in the middle of the street, the parking lot of the fast food. I think it even landed in the fast food at one point. Well, the cops come in, and they cuffed us. They got me in one car, last call in another car. They got me in the back seat on the passenger side, and the door is open. They got him in the back seat, passenger side door, and the door is open. So we could still kind of not talk, but hear each other. And the cops asking me questions. I'm all jaked up, and I'm smarting off. Last call is laughing. Every time I open my mouth, he's busting out laughing. So I started laughing. And every time I made a smart ass remark, they're hitting him asking me if it's funny. And I'm trying to not laugh and say no, but of course you laugh harder. And then they take us. They had the van come and pick us up. They threw us in the van. I stepped up in, and I'm sitting on this side, cuffed up like this. They just threw his drunk ass on the floor. And I'm talking to him, kind of whispering. And he goes, "Don't talk to me, don't talk to me." And I didn't understand why. What it was is I forgot that last call actually had a handcuff key. And in his blue jeans, by where the belt goes, they had that little material. He always had a slit there, and he'd keep the key there on a piece of string. And the string was tied to the loop. It was real thin thread. So he could take it, pull it out, snap it, and uncuff himself. Or like I said, don't quote me on it, it was either that or he was so fucking drunk and beat up by that time they thought he was passed out. Well, they bring us down to the police station. They pulled us into the sally port. And he's like, I'm trying to talk to him. He's like, "Don't talk to me." He's acting like he's passed out. They opened up the door and said, "Come on." And I'm like, "Last call, get up." And I said, "I think you guys killed him." So they told me to get out. Just as I get out, he pushes me out of the way. He jumps out the door. He hits the cop, thinking he was going to run. Well, the overhead door was up. He runs into this big fucking circle, realizes he can't go nowhere. They beat the piss out of him. And that's just when Milwaukee, like, I'm talking months past the law. You hit a cop, it's 5 years mandatory. 5 year minimum mandatory. And it cost last call probably about 25, 30 grand. But he got a year. And we had some great lawyers back then. Him and I both, we had awesome ass lawyers. So they did a plea on him. They just wanted him and I apart. They wanted him off the street. So he took the plea. And this is how smart, the Department of Justice, DOJ is, okay? While he's being serving his time, they found another charge that they could get him for. And they were almost at the end of the statute of limitations, so they ran him through court. And they took it to the jury trial, and it was really funny back then because we were doing home improvement like I told you, and it was like we had these lawyers on retainer along with paying them, because his lawyer and my lawyer used to be partners, then they split up, and they both started their own firms. It wasn't like they didn't get along, they just wanted to try something different. They both wanted to get out of criminal, but they both ended up in criminal. They both had their own firms. And they both owned a lot of properties. So every time we would do a job, if it was $10,000, and so we'd collect a half down for material. So let's say material cost $4, it would be a balance of $6 grand. They would keep 3, and they'd pay us, the other 3. And that 3 that they kept would go into like a retainer. And I know my lawyer owned like 18 properties. Last calls owned maybe 26. So there was always enough work. And we had a legit business going at the time. so we had employees, so we'd send them over. They were getting paid, and our retainer was always free. Well, when they go to charge and put another charge, it goes to the verdict. They find them guilty, and the sentence was supposed to be like 3 months, and I don't know, a few $1,000 fine. The judge said time served because he already had the time served because the crime that he charged him for was before he was doing the time for the assault, hitting the cop. So he goes, okay, yeah, time served. They take him back to where they were holding him. And he said he got back there right about 4 p.m. by the time they got him back. Because he wasn't at the county jail yet. I believe he was out at the House of Correction. So it took him a while. All of a sudden, because back then they would release you at they'd have you ready to be released by 11:59 at 12:01, because they'd transfer you back down. Like if you were doing, say, 9 months out at the House of Correction, you do your time. The day or two before you were to be released, they'd transfer you to Milwaukee. And about 10:30, 11 o'clock, you'd be up in the county jail. Around 10:30, 11 o'clock on the night before you're to be released, they would bring you down to open holding. About 11:30, quarter to, they'd start getting your paper, bringing you to get your shit. 12:01, they would release you. So after the jury trial, they send him back out to Franklin. He gets there by 6 o'clock. So he goes back to where his cot, bed was, where they were, his cell, dorm or whatever. And they don't, about 10 after 8, they come and get him. He said, where am I going? Because he could see he was going towards intake, outtake. They said, we're transferring you down to county, back to county. The last call goes by. And they said, you want to be released, right? And he almost blew it, he said, but he caught himself. He went into mental, dumb mode. They release him at 12:01. He calls me up, and the phone rings. I said, hello, collect call from last call. Well, I knew that wasn't right because when you're in jail, even back then they would tell you it's from the county jail or whatever. And they were just starting to do that at that time. I took the call. He goes, come and get me. I said, well, where the fuck are you? He told me the bar downtown, not too far from me. It was like about 3 blocks east of the county jail. I believe it was some Irish pub. Anybody from Milwaukee that's been in the county jail probably know exactly. Because if you had money, they'd give you the check. Well, where are you going to go and cash a check at 12 o'clock? Well, you could go to that bar. If you had like one time I got out of there, I had like a $200 check. They charge you $10. It was like $215, and I think I got $205 or $210 back, whatever it was. But who the fuck cares? You're out. And what was cool is the bar would give you your first drink free if you were cashing a check, because they figured you're going to have a couple other. They'd say, oh, congratulations, you're out. Because they knew the money was good, so they'd cash a check. Now I guess people go down to Potawatomi Indian Casino, but I guess that's cool. To me, I'd rather go 3 blocks, cash my check, and get a cab home, or have somebody pick me up. But, so I go down and pick them up. We get back to our apartment, and that's when they answer answering machines were first coming out, they were really expensive. You know, the tape. The owner of that bar left a message telling last call to get the fuck out of town because the cops came down to the bar looking for him. And he goes, yeah, he was here to cash his check. Why? Well, we released him by mistake. So I shipped him up north, and I believe he was free for almost a year when he got into a fight up there or something. They extradited him down. And I don't know what the fuck the police were thinking or the sheriffs, but they kept him in jail. Now remind you, he only had like 4 or 5 months left to go. They arrested him in course because he basically jumped. They tried to get him for escape. And right away I called the lawyer. I called his lawyer, and I told him what happened. And they said, well, how are they doing, charging him for escape? I said, I don't know, talk to the cops. That's what they said. They can't be. Well, I said tomorrow, when I went to his office, I showed him, he couldn't believe it. And even with the lawyer, he was trying to get him back into court. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but they held his court date for like almost 8 months. And by the time he goes into court for the, well, right away the judge said that ain't escape, because the lawyer had, got the paperwork or whatever. So that was dropped. But because they released him, the judge, and because of the aggravation, because they kept him in there for 5 months anyway, or 8 months, he goes, you're free to go. Just go get, you had to go back to get released. That's one thing TV gets wrong. Oh, they find him innocent. I don't give a shit how innocent you are, how big of a mistake, that you can never walk out of the courtroom. They have to take you back to process you out. And I even believe Larry Lawton covers that too. So go and check his site out at Larry Lawton. Jewel thief or something. Good guy. He's working on prison reform. Go and check him out. I believe he's got a video out there that says the same thing. And the DA goes, or the ADA goes, what do you mean he's free to go? He has 5 months. And the judge said, well, you held him for 7 months or 8 months, whatever the fuck it was. Well, of course, they're pissed. And I went to court with them. I knew when his court date was going to be. I would go to court. So I was there so when he would get out. And I sat and waited in Milwaukee, even back then, and it got worse in the 90s. You could be in court at 9:15. You'd be done by, say, 9:30. 10 o'clock. They would not release you until 2, 3 in the morning. And their excuse was this, because the paperwork starts up here and it funnels down to one person. And why they did that is they get so much money per day. So if they keep you an hour or two after midnight, they get that money for that day. Because we put it together because I think there was like a 3-hour grace period, because you never get released until 10 minutes after 3 or like 11 after 3 in the morning or later, because then they get the check from the federal government. So I wait for him to get processed out, which took him, he went into court at like 10:15. His case was called. He was out by 20:11. And the lawyer worked on it with, the lawyer stayed with, his lawyer stayed with me to kind of push him through. He gets out about, he comes through the door about between 4 and 4:30, I guess. We walk out. We get into my pickup truck. As we walk out, the lawyer's walking with us. He goes to his car, we go to my truck. I'm telling you, we get 4 blocks away, 5 blocks away. And then they pulled us over, he tore my truck apart, looking for shit. trying to find something to get his ass back. Okay, so we get back to our place. The next morning, I hear a rap at the door. I walk to the door. I said, "You can huff, you can puff, and you can blow me." And I open up the door, and there's 3 cops. 3 city cops and a sheriff. Well, in our kitchen, when you walked in the door at this place, we had a stove refrigerator, and we had a chest freezer. And then on our bedroom doors, we each had a padlock. Wasn't to keep each other out. It was so if I brought a party, had a party after bar time, none of my friends could go into his room, and we knew it wasn't to keep each other out because we had we had the locks with all, like 3-4 locks with all the same keys, so it wasn't that. But every time the cops come, the first place they would look is that fucking freezer. So it got to the point, every time I heard the door open, I'd open up the freezer. And I'd say, okay, and it was them, I'd say, come in. And right away, they'd still walk to that fucking freezer. That one time, I knew it was the cops. I heard the rap. I looked up out the window, I seen a squad car there. I took a whole bunch of shit, clothes, and I threw it in there so that you couldn't even close the lid. They still had to go and look, but they come to the door the next day. We're looking for, your brother. I said, for what? Oh, we need to question him about a crime. I said, crime he did or what? No, a crime he witnessed. When? Oh, like 6 weeks ago. I said, that's impossible. No, it isn't. We got witnesses. I said, how the fuck could you do it? Because he was in jail waiting for trial. Well, they took my ass because I was hindering or something, and they beat the piss out of me going down my stairs. They're pushing me down the stairs. I think I lost 2 teeth on that one. I cracked my jaw, and I actually had a concussion. But for the longest time, they kept fucking with us. Well, last call got so pissed off, and his lawyer was, getting older. He was a lot older than my lawyer, and he was about to retire anyways. And he even told last call, I think I'm going to be retiring in a few months, so we'll try to find you another attorney. And last call said, fine, but until then I'll use Hippie's attorney, because we never wanted the same attorney, because half the time we were together we needed 2 attorneys. It was just something we had cooked up in our head. Well, my attorney landed, by the way, you should know both attorneys are passed now. But my attorney finally filed something. He got their ass, got him off his ass. And we still had a little trouble after that, but the lawyer took it back, and the judge must have the right amount of vodka in his pitcher because the judge warned him, enough of this shit. So then we had that argument. I blew town for about 2-3 years. And then my grandmother died, his mom, and there was a time last call wanted to kill me. And I'm not talking hypothetically, I'm talking in the ground, kill me. It was all over misunderstanding. Excuse me. But I had to go to this funeral, and we made up. We talked it out, and we teamed back up again. And the thing is, we were meaner, badder, and stronger than what we were even the first time, because we both, I grew up. By that time I was like 21. I was out on parole, actually, my first parole. And I was driving truck over the road, I had a nice pickup truck, a nice motorcycle. The pickup truck looked like shit, but I had a good motor in it. I had other ways of making money. And then, things later, because we split up for that 3 years, it was like the cops forgot about us for like a year or two. So now, we moved onto 13th and Beecher. At that place, we did not have a refrigerator. We had a stove, and we had a refrigerator, but it was one of those little square ones, like a dorm size. But we had a shower in the basement, so we didn't use our bathtub. And the corner store always had a good deal on ice. So we put ice in anything we needed. We used it like as a cooler in the tub. And he was living with a girl. I was living with another girl. Everything was going good between him and his old lady. My old lady and I were a disaster from day one. That was called a suicide relationship because it was just arguing all the time. And I'm on the phone because my old lady didn't move out, but she ran home to her parents because we got into a big argument. I told her to get the fuck out. She split. And I'm on the phone with this other girl who's just a friend. And all of a sudden the operator breaks in and goes, they asked for me. And I said, yeah. She goes, we have a important phone call trying to come through. And they said the woman's name. And I said, okay, yeah, give me 2 seconds. I told my friend, I said, I'll call you back. Something must happen to my brother. I hang up the phone rings, it's his old lady. He slipped on the ice and broke his leg in 3 places. And he went by ambulance to, I believe it was already Freighter. It was the old county hospital, and I think they changed it to Freighter by that time. And she goes, they're taking him to Freighter. I said, okay, or county, because people were still referring it to county. So I went out there, and they said they had to do surgery. He has a cast up to the hip. And he happened to get a good decent sum of money at the time. And my old lady and his old lady were good friends, and I told her, I said, once that money's gone, she's going to split, she's going to torch that relationship between her and Alaska. Oh, no. Well, he gets the cast on, he goes home. He was in the hospital for 5 days. At that hospital, if you wanted TV, you would either have to put quarters in it, I believe at that time, or pay like $7 a day. So I paid for like 3 days worth for him, And he finally comes home, and there was still a day left on the TV, and he tried to pay me for it. I said, fuck it. I'd only probably drink it up anyway. So they go home. For a week and a half, everything's fine. All of a sudden, one day, the night before, the old lady and I got into a big fight. She split, and this time I knew she was gone because she had her ex-boyfriend pick her up and take her somewhere. And I was drinking all day anyways. The next morning I wake up to my phone ringing and I have a hangover. And normally I would have thrown it out, thrown it across the room or out the window. window because I always slept with the window open. But I answered, I said, yeah. Or I go, how I answer the phone, I go, what? All of a sudden, his last call, he said, I'm at this bar in Cudahy. Come and talk to me. We need to talk. I'm like, call. I can't even fucking see my ceiling right now. I said, there's no way I could drive. He said, I'll call, he said, somebody, and I'll have him pick you up. I said, yeah, that's fine. A little bit later, he shows up, he takes me over there. Last call goes, how much cash you got on you? I said, I told him. He goes, well, go and find us a place. I said, why? He said, I'm leaving my old lady. I said, okay. And I said, what do you want to pay for rent? But because rent was really cheap for the money we were making. You could rent like a 2-bedroom for like $2.25. The only problem is it wasn't in great neighborhoods. So I found a place. Me and this guy go to take. This was not his name, but let's just call him Smokey for the story. And I told Smokey, I said, yeah, we walked up, we looked at it. I asked the landlord, I said, what do you want for this again? He said, $2.25, $2.50. I said, security too? He said, yeah. So I flipped out $500. He gives me a receipt. I said, can we move in today? Because when I called him, I said, I need a place as soon as possible. He goes, and once I meet you, if I like you, you can, as soon as you give me the rent and deposit, you can move in. And Smokey actually knew this landlord, and this guy was hard to get into. But the day when we went to take a look at it, at the apartment, it was like a duplex that they turned into a 4-family apartment, and we lived up in the upper front. And his brother was there, and his brother knew me, but he didn't know last call. And he told his brother, he goes, you don't even have to check him, he's cool, he makes great money. The rent will be, they're the type that in the summer they pay every month, but right before winter when they get laid off, they pay all their winter month's rent in advance. He's like, if you want it, go ahead. Yeah, $500. And so I give him the $250, or I think it was $2.25 or $200, and it was a 2-car garage. And if you wanted one of the garages, or 1.5, you had to pay so much. Well, and I said, if they're both open, we take both. It came out to $250 for the rent, plus the security deposit. Came to $500. I gave it to him. I said, when can we move in? He goes, you can move in today. So we do the paperwork. Smokey takes me back to Cudahy. And what was funny is 2 days before that, his neighbor was selling a Ford van. And anybody that knows anything about Ford vans, the bottoms rust really bad, like the frames and the cross members. And with his leg, he couldn't get under there, so he called Smokey to get underneath to take a look. Excuse me. And sorry about that. And to give it a test drive, because he couldn't with the cast, because it was his right leg. And Smokey said, yeah, it's fine. Last call bought it. So when we went to the bar, we picked up last call, because he didn't really live that far from there or something, or his old lady dropped him off. We went and got the van. I take last call to the apartment. He walks up, which was not an easy task. He said, yeah, fuck, it's got 2 rooms, kitchen, living room, and a shitter. What more do we need? We worked out the deal with the locks. And I told Smokey to take him back to the bar. I'll go and get the shit moved in, move us in. And Smokey said, I'll be back in a couple hours, because he had something to do too. moved in the couch, the stove. No, the stove was there, but the TV, our beds, and I had a water bed at the time. By the time Smokey got back, I was done. So he goes, shit, I was going to help you. I said, Mom, I'm just going to work until you got here. I'm done. He goes, well, is there anything I can do? I said, yeah, go and get last call, bring them back here. And I had the locks up. So everything's going cool. The next morning, he had to go to the doctor the next day. And after him and his old lady broke up, he went back to one of his ex-old ladies. And she took him to the doctor. Again, I hear her rap at the door. I don't think anybody knows where we're living. I walk up the door, I said, you can huff, you can puff, you can blow me. I opened up the door, there's 2 fucking Milwaukee cops. They said, come on, Michael. I said, I'm not Michael. I'm pushing them back. And now they're getting frustrated. I said, I'm not Michael. I showed them my ID. Oh, you're not? No shit. Well, the cop looks at me and goes, this ain't Michael. To the other cop. I said, no shit. They said, well, can we look? I said, yeah. They look in the freezer. They look in the pantry. You know, they looked in the living room. They kind of looked behind the couch, behind the chair. They look in my room. And my waterbed went from one wall to the other. And in the opposite corner, there was a closet with no door on it. So to get there, you had to stand on the side of the bed, walk the footboard, stand on the other side, balance yourself up or step down into it. And the cop goes, what's in there? I said, a closet. He said, how do you get back there? I said, I'll show you one time. I did. He goes, well, I'm not doing it. He goes, is he in there? I said, no. I go, Mike, or I go, last call, you in here? And I'm like, yes. Cop said, get back over here. So I come back. They leave. Or no, first they said, whose room is that? I said, last calls. They said, open up. I said, I don't have a key for it, which I did. And it was a master, and we, all of our locks were master locks. And they said, well, try it. I said, okay. And I went to grab it. He goes, that ain't the key you grabbed. I said, no, that's the key to my door. So I put the key in. It was the wrong key. He goes, no, I drew the one you did. So I looked like I grabbed the one that went to my lock and his lock, but when he wasn't looking, I flipped it to another one. I said, here, give it a try. It didn't work. They said, okay, well, tell them we're looking for him. Tell them to come down to the police station. I said, yeah, right on. They leave, 2 hours, they come back. I said, he isn't home yet. I said, would you like to search? They did one more quick search, the same way. And I said, but I'm not going to try the keys again, because I got away with them once. They leave, they come back again. But this time they just did a walkthrough and they left. About 3 hours later, now we're looking at 6:30. They were searching through the house, and I went out on the porch because I had a cigarette, and the cop said, God, that smoke bothers me. And I seen last call's van pull up, and I went like this to him. Look back, nobody's there, and I went. And he knew if I did that, that meant he jumped back, went back into the van, and because he was parked 13th. Goes this way, Beecher goes this way, okay? And he was parked on this corner, so he's on the driver's side. He just got out, and I looked, and he couldn't see me, and I went like this, because one cop was in the living room, and where he was standing, he couldn't see me out the door or the window. And he looked up, and I said, like, go. He jumped in, took off. He comes back about 9:30 at night. Well, he goes to the bar. He gave it about an hour. He calls me at the house. And he goes, let's go. I said, the cops are here. He goes, I had a feeling when he seen the squad cars, because they actually parked around the corner where he was. There was a church right there. And he said, do you think it's safe to come home? I said, they've been here like 3-4 times. I said, if you have somewhere else to stay, I'd stay away for one more night. The next day, the same fucking thing. For about 4 days. Well, I think they finally realized that I was not letting them go home, because all of a sudden they stopped. And every time we thought we heard the downstairs door, he was jumping. for about a week. And I think they knew he was up there. But one morning, I was taking him to his doctor's appointment. They caught us walking out the door. You know, the pricks broke his fucking leg again. You know, we used to pull shit like that all the time. Just like one time, I'm doing roughing because he can't work, you know, because of his leg. But the job that the company we worked for doing home improvement actually had short-term disability. They didn't have long-term. They had health insurance. It wasn't the greatest insurance, but it was enough to get into the doctor's office. You know, they'd say, okay, it was different then. You know, as long as you had the insurance, then you could cover your copay at that time, they'd bill you the rest. But yeah, at least they'd see you. And he wasn't getting much, but he was getting enough, you know, probably about $300 a week. Or I forgot, I think it averaged out about like $150 a week or $170 a week, you know, once a month. But, you know, we were partners, you know, we always took care of each other. There was one head, it was the others. And so I'm working, and he'd take care of everything else. You know, he'd cook, because I worked from 6, I leave the house about 5:15. I'd get to the job about anywhere between 5:30 and 6, and I'd work till dark, which would have been about 8 o'clock, you know, 7, 8 o'clock, depending what time of the summer it was. Then we clean up, lock everything up, come home. And I would come home, I'd take a shower. From 10 to 10:30, I'd watch the news. The MASH was on, and then I'd go to bed. Well, one day, it was a hot summer day. It was probably like July, right around July 4th. And it was 94, because it was the 90th anniversary was going. And I got done with the job, I come home, and if you came east or, you know, on Lincoln and you wanted to go north on 13th, you could go up to Beecher, but you had to make a right or left, because they were tarring 13th from Beecher all the way to Mitchell. Not blacktopping, tarring. So you get up there, you have to make a right or left. So I get off work early, I come up there, I'm like, shit, I forgot about this. So I parked, made a right-hand turn. And when I was at the stop sign, I could see because our house was the third house from the corner, I could see him up on the porch. And I thought he was talking to somebody, but it turned out he was arguing. So I turned the corner, I parked there, I walk across the street, and all of a sudden I hear Mike go, "Will you get the fuck out of here?" And I heard this Spanish guy go, "Fuck you, cracker." And, you know, Mike replied. And we had a cast iron, or he did, but it was on our porch, a cast iron grill bulb. Probably about 12 inches long, 14 inches long. And it was on aluminum legs. And I don't know how those legs held it, because this cast iron with the lid weighed like 75 pounds, 60 to 80 pounds. He's got it over the side, and he's telling them, "Get the fuck away from me or I'm going to drop it." The Mexican's going back and forth, back and forth. And I walk over, and I hear him arguing. I'm like, what the fuck? So I kind of sped up. And when I come to the second house, because we were the third, I looked at him and I went like this. I walked right up behind the Mexican. We're probably about 3 feet apart, and Mike goes, one more time, "This is the last time, motherfucker. If you don't get away from my house, I'm going to drop it." Mexican goes, "Fuck you." Mike goes, "No, fuck you." And he went, bloop. The Mexican jumps back, hits me, and if I wouldn't have been a foot closer, that grill would have landed, or at least hit him. He spins around, I pull like this, the fucker takes off running. And, you know, we're laughing. I get upstairs, we just started laughing our asses off. Well, now about 2-3 weeks later, it's August. And it's got to be it's got to be like in the high 90s. And my guys are getting sick, they're from heat. So I said, fuck this. I talked to the homeowner and they go, yeah, no, take the day off. Nobody, they don't want nobody falling off of the roof or getting hurt. They said, no, take off. If you need tomorrow off, you don't even have to stop by here. We'll understand. The heat should only be a couple more days. No, it's cool. They even called the office, so the office ones think we're fucking around. They didn't have to, but they did. So I head home. I get home about 1:30. I don't know what the fuck to do because I never got home that early. I walk in. Mike's at the table. Les calls at the table. His girlfriend's on the opposite side. I walk in. And we're talking. I open up my door. And I go downstairs, take a shower. I come back up. And we talked a little bit. I went out on the porch. And we had real high railings, so we didn't have chairs up there because we like to see what the hell was going on. We just sit on the railing on each side of the door. I'm sitting over on this side. Mike, last call, and his old lady stayed in the house because I was just hot from the sun anyway, so I just wanted to be outside. Like I told you, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't even turn on the TV because I didn't even know what the hell was on. All I knew that was on was, I think, Geraldo and Sally Jesse or something. All I can tell you, what was ever on TV and soap operas. So whatever was on TV didn't interest me. That's all I knew. So I'm sitting out on the porch, and this carload of Mexicans come by. And I'm not prejudiced. I am not prejudiced at all. I'm literally colorblind. I cannot see colors when they're close, and I don't know color of race. You treat me like a human being, I'll treat you better. And I'm going to use a racial word, and I don't mean it, but I won't. I'll use a different word. You treat me like a punk, I'm going to treat you like a punk, okay? I don't care what you do. Like I said in one other video, I don't care if you're gay, cross-dressed, or whatever. If you're gay, what you do in your bedroom or your house, that's your business. Just don't hit on me. Don't bring me into your fucking problems. Don't even bring me into your fucking life, okay? Treat me decent, I'll treat you better. Treat me like shit, I'll snap your neck. It's that simple, But these carload Mexicans go by, and I see them up at the stop sign ready to make a left-hand turn to go north past our house. And I kind of looked, and I noticed on the front passenger side was the guy that last called down there dropped the grill on. And I kind of went, this is going to be interesting. As they drive by, they threw up their gang signs. Well, I threw up mine, Car stops, guy gets out, goes, come down here and do that. Come on. So, I'm hot, I'm pissed off anyways. I didn't make no money that day. Well, I did, but not what I'm used to making. So I'm pissed off. I run through the door, through the living room, through the kitchen, out there, down the stairs, out the side door. But as I go through the kitchen, last call goes, what's going on? I said, bunch of fucking gangbangers out there. And I knew he couldn't do much because he had his cast on his leg. So I come out the side door, I come out to the front, I'm right in his face, I said, I'm here, so now what? What are we going to do here? And, we're changing words. Just then, the guy in the back passenger seat went to open up his door to get it out. I kicked the door and I actually heard the bone snap. And I turned around and I told the guy I was arguing with, I said, you can tell your buddy if he pulls out that gun, my brother's up there with his 30-06 with the scope right between your eyes. The guy looks up and went like this and he said, no. Let's go. It's, basically in Spanish, forget it. He gets in the car and takes off. Outside, I turned around, there's last call. on the couch, kind of goofy with his 30-06, and I go, wow, because I didn't know if he had it or not. You know, I was just trying to, because I would have went to blows, but you know, I was just shooting my mouth off. But nobody fucked with us in that neighborhood. I had my air compressor and my nail gun on the front seat of my truck. A lot of times I'd forget to lock the doors. I'd have the windows rolled up. That was never. My truck was never broken into. Neither was Last Call's Ford van. Across the alley was Last Call's girlfriend at the time, and he was so pissed because where her kitchen window was, she could tell when we were coming or going, because we didn't have a front door. The only way we could get in was through the side, and he hated that. You know, I mean, there were times where he would jump off of our front balcony, you know, or climb down, and you know, just so she didn't see him coming and going, because if I went, she knew I always came and gone. This is after his leg was better. And she lived across the street. 2 doors north was a guy that was a tree cutter, and he had one of those mulchers that, you know, where they put the branches in to turn into like sawdust. Next door north to him was a roofer. 2 doors was a roofer, or a home improvement, home improvement companies. Across the alley, one more towards us, which would have been like 2 or 3 over, was another home improvement guy. You went this way, or no, that guy was over here. This guy, 2 doors north of us on our side of the alley, he worked on cars. He had a nice shop. All those other trucks had equipment stolen from. The tree cutter had that mulcher stolen, because he had like 2 or 3 of them, and one was extra. And he thought he had it blocked enough, but that came up missing. The guy's garage got cleaned out. I would accidentally leave my windows open or my doors unlocked all night. Nothing was ever stolen. Yeah, we're at about an hour. I promise you, these will get better. I'm doing this one without a script, and these I'm probably going to do without scripts. So if you want me to stop, write it down below. But I will be coming up with a part 3. I'll probably put other stuff in between. But I think I might be ending this for a while and then changing my format. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Please hit the like or don't like. Good, comments, bad, it doesn't matter. If you want to contact us through our email, Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, go back to one of the other videos that has me and Apex in, and get it from there. And don't forget, you can always get a hold of me through Vegas World or VW. Look for Mr. 1967 GTO. Leave an email there. Matter of fact, I got one from last time there. That was pretty cool. I want to say I even had one on the bulletin board on the game, you know, on my profile. That stays for like 24 hours or something. Don't forget to check out Apex at Apex the Original. Go and check out Mr. Ballin. If you like strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in a story format, he's really great. Don't forget to go and check out Omar Gosh, Wacky Witch. And if you want to tell them I sent you, hopefully they won't get mad. If you want me to stop this, I will. Tell you the truth, because I'm not getting the response that I was hoping to get. losing interest in this. So I think I'm gonna just. I gotta talk to Apex yet, but if something don't change here, I'm probably gonna shut this down and regroup and try to start something else. And hopefully I can find somebody basically to be the producer of this, where they can and edit, do the editing and all that, or at least come and show me how for a while. And if they want to come on here with me, but this is going to be all up to Apex now. I'll work the same deal out I did with Youngblood and Apex. Show me how to do it. Because when Apex and I were doing it, I think we had the right flavor, the right ingredients. We just could have taken something. But when I gotta do these solos, this ain't working. So let me talk to Apex and just let me know. If you want me to keep telling this story, I will. Or if you want me to tell something else, leave it down below. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out Michael Francis. He's a great one. Till then, be good, be healthy, be safe. Ciao.